We are live. All right. This is Mike. Welcome to Mike Golf's Oregon. Joey D coming at us live from the East Coast, Connecticut. Actually, we've been chatting here before we went live. I've been so excited to just say Joey D because it's like the most East Coast sounding name ever.
Yeah.
I'm a Mike. I grew up Mikey. It doesn't sound the same. And
Right.
It's got a certain, he likes it, whatever. But hopefully you've defrosted from last week's storms or still defrosted. How you doing?
It is brutally cold here. We got like a foot and a half of snow about a week and a half ago, and we've been in a deep freeze since. And I tell you what, even for Connecticut, this is brutal. Because even normally during the winter we'll have that Indian summer. We'll get a round or two in. It just this winter has just not allowed us to do that. So it's been a lot of indoor simulator golf, and that that's okay. But it is brutal.
Yeah. When was the last time? Well, first of all, hi to Dick Large. Great name. Be honest. What is your handicap? I'm a 13.7. That's as of the end of the handicap season, when it ended in whatever, November, October, and kicks back up on March 1st. So 13.7 for me. Joey, how about yourself?
I am an 11.9. Started last year and an 8.2. Did not have a great season, but I finished the year at 11.9. I probably had a handful of rounds in the 70s, but other than that, the scores were all over the place. So, yeah. But so
there's your honest answer, Dick Large. And also to the other Joe, sort of like Golf Joe. Good to see you in here, Snowcrete. That sounds like purely an East Coast problem, and you guys can keep all of that.
Yeah, I think Joe should thaw out before I do down in Maryland. So
I would think so. So my question was going to be, when was the last time you got outside to play actual golf outdoors? Because I know you've been doing simulator stuff.
Yeah, I would say we finished up. It was probably the week before Thanksgiving. It started getting cold pretty quick here. Normally we were supposed to go to like December 15th. I think the course was supposed to close at, and it closed a couple weeks earlier. So around Thanksgiving time was our.
I don't even want to tell you where I was at that time. I was abandoned the week before Thanksgiving, and we were in shorts and short sleeves.
Unbelievable. Yeah,
it was pretty unbelievable. If you could hop in a plane right now, right, and go anywhere to go play golf, where would you go? Just to get it out of that snow, just to get away.
Oh, well, I tell you what, right now it's tough to find a warm spot in the country, but I watched the tournament from the West Coast this weekend, and I'm like, you know what? That wouldn't be bad. They were out there playing, it looked beautiful out, and I think they were in Southern California, wherever they were.
Yeah, they're down in San Diego.
San Diego, right?
Yeah, San Diego.
Yeah, and so that's right now. That's where I would go based on. It's cold in Florida right now. They got snow in South Carolina right now. This entire East Coast is we're having some unprecedented weather that is not well for Connecticut. Whatever, it's cold winter, but for the folks down south. I mean, when it snows down there, they're crippled. They got to
wear all their shorts.
No nothing. Yeah,
they got to wear all 3 pairs of shorts. Yeah, that's great. Well, now we've had the obligatory weather talk and got that out of the way. Sure. First of all, thank you for coming on tonight. This is fantastic. As we were chatting, I just absolutely love doing these. I love talking to other creators, people that are passionate about golf and passionate about YouTube, and passionate about just these hobbies that we have. Right. I would love, give us the Cliff's Notes version sort of the Joey D biography. How are you? Who are you? Where are you? What are you? When are you?
Oh, sure. So I'm 56 years old. I've lived in Connecticut my entire life. I started playing golf when I was 11 years old. But also, when you're a kid, I played baseball and things of that nature. And I was on the high school golf team. But I really didn't get serious about golf until I got in my 20s. That's when I started playing every week consistently. I've had some really good years. I've been as low as a 4 handicap. I've shot in the 60s twice in my life. I got 2 hole-in-ones. So there's a lot of cool stuff that I've done in golf that I haven't sniffed in a million years. That's what makes it even worse, right? So
You've tasted the mountaintop. You've
You
been to
know,
the mountaintop.
I remember that my low score, my low round is a 68. And on that day, I shot 34 with my first hole in one. And I thought, "Hey, I'm on my way, right? I'm on my way." And then I had a lot of good years. I mean, low 70s. I shot in the 60s one more time. And I would go out and feel like I was going to shoot. If I shot anything over like 76, I felt like I had a bad round. And then unfortunately, I went through a divorce, right? And then you go from, you know, then I had my kids every other weekend, and just life changed for me. And you know what? If you're not consistent with the game, it can really go. And once it went, I have not been able to bring it back to the level that I was at, but I still love it.
Yeah.
I don't know what they do.
What they put in it.
I don't know what it is. It feels like, it's something must be in the water. So, I don't even know what people who don't play golf do on the weekends. I'm like, how do they have any fun?
What do you do?
It doesn't make any sense to me. What do you mean you don't play golf on the weekends? What's the matter with you?
Yeah.
So,
Take me back. Okay. So you say that you started when you were 11 years old. Take me back. How did that, tell me about that. Was it a parent? Was it a grandparent? Was it a school program? What was the deal?
it was actually my father played golf and then he stopped, right? And so, but he had clubs around the house. And one day I just went out in the backyard with a club and a ball on my own and just started hitting the golf ball. And I don't know, maybe it was the second or third swing in, I nailed one. And I just thought that was the coolest thing. I'm like, oh man, this is great. And I had a friend of mine, and he wanted to get into it. So we got these junior memberships at the local course we were at, and we were there every day for the summer. And so it was my dad who got me into it, but by only because his equipment was there, right? I did end up playing a lot of golf with my dad, before he passed away, growing up and stuff. But it was just, I just walked out in the garage one day and there was a golf club, and I'm like, I'm gonna just take this thing out there, just whack the ball around. And
are we talking like blades or what?
Oh yeah.
Do you remember? Do you remember what they were?
Oh God, I think they were Spalding something. I don't even remember, to be honest with you. But that was such a long time ago. But I can still remember being in the backyard. God, I can still see that shot when I hit it like 3 yards over, thinking I hit it 500 yards, but probably was only 100. But I still can see the shot very vividly as if it was just yesterday. That was 40 something years ago. It was,
I think back crazy. Like the first time, like the last week or two of junior high, they always had outdoor school, right? And there's activities, and they said, well, we're gonna do golf, and so I was like, oh, I'll bring my dad's clubs. I didn't know anything about golf. And I look back now, they were Wilson Staff blades, and I couldn't hit anything to save my life. My dad plays inch long, inch longer extended shafts, and I'm this little scrawny runt, trying to swing these things. And it's just like how I ever came back to golf is maybe a wonder. After something like that, after that kind of an experience. So
yeah,
that's good. So how do you, I want to talk about sort of your, one of the things, or the tagline on your YouTube channel, right, is, hey, I play all hybrids.
Yes.
You highlight your all hybrid,
correct,
your bag. How did that come about? And how long you've been playing all hybrids? And did you, I'm assuming, obviously you used to play irons or whatever, but walk me through the story of the hybrid bag, Joey D.
Sure. I'm going to quickly answer Dick Large.
Sure.
Hey, I currently I have a Callaway Rogue, and I've been doing speed training. So I was playing the super softball, but that is going to change. I'm actually in the process of making a video right now of my speed training journey from my baseline to, I'm going to do like 12 weeks of it. So look for that video to come out. But I also did a review of that BombTech Atomic Driver. And funny enough, one of my subscribers sent me an email today. BombTech sent a blasted an email out to all their people on their email list, and my video was embedded in the email. So it's funny you should ask that today. But the BombTech Atomic Driver is awesome. It was a great driver. My review was very positive of it.
You should reach out to them right away, right? And get an affiliate link so that anybody that follows the link, you get a percentage or something.
Yeah, got one.
That'd be pretty cool.
Got
And
one.
Dick Large, I will be playing the same driver I've always played. It is a Callaway XR16. And it's pretty beat up, but it works for me. And I don't generally have a single ball. I will rotate between several different balls. I will play super soft in the wintertime when it's cool like this, when it's cool out. I'll play a super soft and it's just fine. And I'll play it year round even. It doesn't bother me. But I rotate through the Kirkland Signature balls, the new red stripe ones. I don't know what people are referring to them as, but the box with the red stripe on them.
Yep.
Those are pretty great. I'll play Pro V1. I actually like the AVX better. Mm-hmm. And the other ball that I really sort of like and will buy sometimes in bulk is the Strixon Z-Star 15s.
Yep. So those good balls. Absolutely.
Yeah, those all work well for what I got going on. Yep. But I don't get too picky about it, really, to be honest.
Yeah.
Not too much.
But anyway, so we'll go back to
hybrids. Back to hybrids. Yeah.
Hybrids. Yeah. So in I think it was around June or July of 2024. I got the Hazel Rockets. I don't want to say the word out loud, so we'll just say Hazel Rockets. And I was beside myself because I had gotten, what it's like. Every golfer knows what it's like to get them, and it's a mental thing. And the more you try to not do it, the more you do it. And so I decided, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to try a hybrid. Like, I've had 3 hybrids, 4 hybrids, everybody had those, but I looked and I found this company called Lazarus, Lazrus, right? And they were inexpensive. So I just went ahead and bought their 6 hybrid, and in the meantime, I went and saw my Pro. And I'm like, I got the Hazel Rockets. You got to help me out here. And so I got the 6 hybrid, but in the meantime, he had fixed me. You know what I mean? I was kind of somewhat over them. But the 6 hybrid, I ended up hitting it probably 10 to 15 yards longer than my regular 6 iron. And it came in just as high, if not higher, and landed nice and soft. Now, you don't get spin with hybrids, but I tell you what, they are so easy to hit and they come in so high. And I was like, unbelievable. So then I said, well, let me get the 7 and let me get the 8. So same thing. I was hitting more greens. My third round in 2024 once I got the 6, 7, 8, and 9 hybrid, my third round in with them, I shot 73. Right. And I'm like, I haven't shot 73 in a million. I hit 15 greens and I shot 73. I didn't putt great, and so then I just went all the way. I ended up getting the pitching wedge. I got the gap wedge. I even had a hybrid sand wedge.
That was the last video of yours that I watched was you hitting hybrid sand wedges out of a packed, a packed trap.
Well, hitting a hybrid sandwich out of a sand trap is not the easiest thing to do.
Doesn't look easy.
No, but I never really did get over the shanks. I'm just gonna have to say it, right? And so I ended up buying have you ever heard of the F2 wedges?
Yeah.
So they're supposed to be I bought the 56 and the 52 and I don't shank them. So around the greens now I will have a 56 and a 52, but I have from the 4 through the gap wedge are all hybrids. So, and I have I also have that from Performance Golf. I just bought and did a review of that 357 wood, which I thought was going to be a gimmick. I really thought it was going to be garbage. It's unbelievable. The club for me is unbelievable. I did get some hate on the video, like guys that tried it that said, oh, it didn't work out for me. It is junk, but it really wasn't. I hit this thing as far as a 3 wood. It comes in nice and high, and it's got it's a length of a 5 wood. So, but that's how the hybrids went. I had the shanks and I ordered one just because I didn't know what else to do. And I found like, man, these things are so easy to hit. And And people would see me out there and they would make fun of me. And
I can
then,
only imagine.
right, they'd make fun
Right,
of
I can
me.
only
And
imagine.
then they'd see me, hit one to like 10 feet and they'd be like, whoa.
Did
Like,
you so
are
when
you
you had the shanks before you got the hybrids, you said you had the shanks. Was
yeah.
it like every club or was it because you said you got the 6 hybrid? Was it your 6 iron? Was it just or was it just like didn't matter? Put it in
It
your
was
hands and you'd shank
more
it.
no, it was more the short shots. I was actually it was so bad that I was actually shanking my chips, which I'd never shanked chips before. Um so speaking of Bomtic, they had sent me out said, "Hey, would you do?" I went reached out to them and told them, "Hey, I'd like to work with you, whatever." Said, "How about we be down for doing some reviews on some wedges?" And I'm like, okay, sure." So I did a review of their wedges, and the video I made, of course, is the ones that I was able to chip and not shank. But
That's
there
you
was
should have told
plenty, there was plenty of shanks in that and so I made another video when I did the F2 wedges, and I used all my shank shots from when I did the BombTech the BombTech review. But the BombTech wedges are great. They are great. And but so it was mostly the short shots.
them.
Anything from 100 yards in, I, I was beside myself. Like I said, I was just things they'd go dead right. The thing that killed me is you're chipping, you're trying to take it straight back and straight forward, and the ball wouldn't even get off the ground. I would just squirt it to the right. I'm like, what is this? I didn't know what was going on. I thought my head was going to explode. I was like,
Well, yeah, that describes and I think you commented on it today. We were talking about it earlier, the video that you watched. That describes one club that's no longer in my bag. Every now and then I get crazy and I put it back in there, and it is that 52-degree gap wedge. I've named it Judas, and Judas kisses you a couple times every round.
yeah,
And
yeah,
so now it's making me think, well, maybe I need to try a gap hybrid.
yeah. I'm telling you, it works. You hit them just as high, but the thing about hybrids is you can hit them further. So, I'm 10 to 12 yards longer with the hybrid than its counterpart iron. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I was hitting my 6 hybrid like 170. For me, that was a long 6 iron. I mean, before my regular 6 iron, I would hit somewhere between 160, 165, but then I could hear it the hybrid 170, 175 sometimes. I'm pitching wedge like 135. And these are all yardages that I was never able to hit my regular irons with. And like I said, they're so easy and they're so forgiving. You very rarely hit bad shots with them.
Mhm.
They're just forgiving.
So I assume you have like a regular group of friends or guys that you play golf with,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
and they're probably the first ones that flick you a lot of crap, a lot of shit about
Oh
showing up
yeah.
with a
Yeah.
hybrid bag.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
were their reactions when they saw you start hitting past them probably and hitting really great shots with a full hybrid bag?
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, I did catch a lot of grief. I was I was actually the joke of the entire golf course, really. I had some guys like I'd quit before I started hitting those. I'm like, well, whatever, they
That's good.
work for me.
Yeah.
And but you know what? The guys I play with are really good dudes, and one of them actually, my son is one of the guys in my group. But um, when they when you're out there playing and they see something, when they see how bad something was, and then all of a sudden they see it completely change, there's not much to say, right? I mean, it actually was like a lot of, let me try that club. Let me try that.
Yeah.
Let me hit that. My buddy
What'd you
Kevin
say that was?
yeah,
What'd you say that was?
yep. My buddy Kevin at the driving range, we went to the driving range one time and he's hitting clubs and I'm like, here, just try to hit some of the with the hybrids. And he's like, and he did it like, man, I wish I never did that. Because I don't need a 6 iron to go 170. I go, so hit a 7 iron instead of the 6 iron. You're making no
It's just
sense
a
to me right
number.
now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just
So
a number.
yeah. So it was more with the guys out of my group that I caught the most of the flack with. You know, one time I left. I was funny. I play in a Tuesday night league, and a couple years ago, my partner was giving me a load of crap for playing the hybrids, and during the weekend, I was playing, and I was in the group in front of him, and I had left the hybrid on the tee, and one of his friends found it, and he said, "Who the hell would play with this?" And Bobby looks at it, he goes, "I know who this is." He goes, "And you know what? He hits it pretty good."
Yeah,
So,
that's good.
yeah.
Do you have head covers on all of them? Sort of like those guys that show up with iron covers?
No, because I got the Echo bag, and it's got all the
the silencer
slots, and the head, you put it down there, and the head covers are just, that's a pain in the ass to try to go through those head covers, and yeah, no, thank you. Whatever, they can clank all they want. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I'm looking at it as sort of a strategic play, though, to sort of trigger the guys that you're playing against. If you're playing for money or you're playing in a tournament, you do the things that really sort of get in their head. You show up with all hybrids. You got covers on every single club in your bag. That's the kind of silly thing that triggers weird golfers. But
it would probably trigger me.
We're all a little neurotic. So so we talked about, you're kind of frozen in right now in Connecticut. How do you get your golf fixed right now?
Simulator golf. Really. There's a lot of indoor golf places around here.
A lot of your videos are in a sim. Is that a home sim, or are you going somewhere and doing that?
Okay. No, we're going somewhere and doing it. I live in a condo. I don't have the ceiling height I wish I did. I can swing a club in the garage, but but there's not enough room in there to set up a simulator. I do my speed training in the garage, but everything else we'll rent the bay out somewhere. We're going this Saturday again. So pretty much me and my buddy John, JT, as he's known in my videos, he goes with me pretty much every week. And we go to a place, and it's in Southington, Connecticut. It's called Happy's. It's great. There's just 2 bays there, and it's bring your own drink, bring your own food. And, the staff there is great. And, we really enjoy going there. So, that's what I'm doing right now.
Yeah. That's cool. And I know, following your channel, a lot of the videos that you're posting right now, when they're not like this, right? Sitting here sharing your thoughts and opinions on golf, it's at the simulator, and it's usually testing equipment. And I see Dick Large has a question about, will either of us do a vintage review? I bought the illegal Callaway ERC2 titanium driver, waiting for the snow to test it. I can tell you, Dick, that I won't. I don't really care about doing equipment reviews. It just doesn't float my boat. But I know somebody on this stream who does. who may, I don't know if he has plans to test that or not, but
what are you talking about? You're talking about me, or you're talking about?
Well, yeah, he's asking if anyone's going to test the illegal I don't know.
So I probably won't test an illegal club, but I do have a vintage review out on my channel already. So I made a video where I put up a TaylorMade burner driver from 2004 up against the Cobra Dark Speed X driver. And I did that back in October. So that video's out there, and it was pretty amazing. At the time, it was the Taylor. I hit the TaylorMade burner better than I was hitting the Cobra. And it's funny because the TaylorMades back in the day, they would come in. Do you remember they used to make a regular flex? They'd make what they call the firm flex. Then you had the stiff flex, and then so there was that in between. They would call it either medium or firm or whatever. So I bought the club with this TaylorMade, and the flex said it was an M flex, as in Mary, right?
Yeah.
And so I thought that meant medium, but really M flex for back then was senior flex. I had no idea. So
I wouldn't have known that either.
But I was killing it. I mean, that driver is still in my garage. I still have it. I can't seem to part up. I probably won't ever use it again, but so if you're looking for a vintage review, Dick Large, that's it. The only one I can offer you. And the results are pretty interesting to see.
I would say I have a confession to make. You said you did a vintage club review, and then you talked about a 2004 club. My entire set of irons is from 2006. So Dick, if you want to see a vintage club review, watch any one of my videos. Anyone where I'm swinging an iron is apparently a vintage club review. My putter is from 1996. So,
oh yeah, I've heard you talk about that before. You said did you say you bought that in a shop or something? I thought
no. So my putter, I worked at Frito-Lay.
That's it. Frito-Lay. I knew there was a story.
They always had like these promo things or whatever. And at that time, if I touched golf clubs twice a year, it was like, wow, I golfed a lot this year. And I was golfing right-handed at that time. And my boss said, hey, we got these, look what we got this year. I got you one of these. And I'm like, oh, cool. Thanks. So I've had it and I love it. I love the feel of it. I've tried other putters, in shops and stuff, and I've yet to find anything that would replace it. But back to the testing thing. The question I had written out is you do a ton of testing, right? A lot of ball testing and equipment testing, things like that, which is great for content creation for your channel and also for figuring out stuff for your game. What's tailored, what fits best for you. What's the biggest surprise you've had from test results?
There are a couple of them. So that the biggest surprise so far this offseason has been that 357 club from Performance Golf. That I expected to get delivered to me because we're not.
I'm sorry. Is that the Hank Haney? Hank Haney?
Yeah, well, yeah. Hank Haney's part of
that commercial.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, that's been the biggest surprise because the performance of that club for me I hit it as far, if not further than I hit my 3-wood. I didn't expect it. I expected to get it, do a review on it, hate the club, and send it back. But it didn't work out that way. And so that was the biggest surprise. And then I did do another review of their SF1, that SF1 anti-slice driver. I just did that last week. And it does.
I saw that one. You hit it straight.
I hit it straight, but I hit it 20 yards shorter than my regular driver. So that one has been sent. That one got back today. Because I don't get these things for free. Right.
Yeah.
I do. There was some stuff that BombTech had sent me and Lazarus had sent me, where I did a lot of where they were kind enough to support a small channel like me and send me some stuff for free. But for the most part, I'm spending my own money. So if I get something and it doesn't work out, I'll send it back. And the problem is when I get something in it and it works, I have 5 drivers now. Like who needs 5 drivers, right? But it's like, one of them is a 2004 driver, so whatever. We'll say 4 drivers. But
you did say you're hitting that stuff pretty good. So
yeah. So that's been my biggest surprise. Was that particular club. Another surprise for me has been I'm doing another series, just trying to find the longest ball off the tee for me. So as you know, I've been doing speed training. My swing speed has come up a considerable amount. Ball speed's come up a good amount. And I've never been able to hit the harder cover balls. And so all of a sudden I was doing these tests and someone asked me to do a test of the Wilson Staff X ball. I don't remember who asked me to do it.
I've played that.
I get people. Yeah. And that ball blew my mind how far that ball went. So right now that one's in the lead in this series that I'm doing, but I think I averaged, I want to say it was like 238 of carry or something like that along the lines. It's the longest one yet with, I think, the TaylorMade distance plus being second. But that was kind of a cool surprise to see that. Wow. Cause now when I try to hit the Callaway Super Soft, I'm actually losing yards where that was always when my swing speed was slower. I hit that ball better, but it's not the case anymore.
Well, that's sort of me. Like I was telling you, I'll play super softs in the wintertime.
Yeah.
Because it does help with distance in the wintertime when it's really cold. We're out there teeing off and it's 40 degrees out. A super soft is actually a great ball to hit. I'm not the biggest fan of some of the other characteristics of that ball, but it is kind of fun. And I've only hit in a simulator one time. And it was to play the front 9 of St. Andrews over some beers in one of those pubs that you're talking about. Yeah. So I've never sat down and just done dedicated like testing of balls. And I think it would be really interesting for me to try it once if I could just bring myself to do it. Because every time I want to touch my golf clubs, I'm like, I want to be on the course. I want to actually play. But I think that it probably would be beneficial for me at some point. But
well, the cool thing about this, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but the cool things about hitting balls in the simulator is you get the feedback of the numbers, right? Not that I'm a big data guy, but it's nice to see, for instance, because I'm doing the speed training, it's nice to see the increase in club head speed. It's nice to see the increase in ball speed, so there's like, hey, I was here when I started and now I'm here, carry distance, spin rate on the golf balls. Because, there's some balls that you hit and, they don't go as far because they just spin too much. So you get all that feedback when you're in the simulator, but in the summertime, we're not in the simulators, Mike. We are on the course. If it was nice enough to play golf, I would not be in a simulator. I'd be out on the golf course for sure.
Yeah. I feel like probably for myself, I think the thing that probably keeps me from doing it, because I'm a member of the club and our club has we have our performance center and they got a TrackMan in there and all that stuff. I could go in there and do it if I wanted to. Is that I feel like there are still so many big gains for me to make just by playing more on the course. And that once I hit, maybe it's that next plateau, right? My goal, like this in 2025, I started the season at a 16 handicap. I got down to a 12 and then I had a little bit of bloat at the end there and ended up at 13.7. The goal this year is to take that first dip under 10, right? 9.9 is the goal. And I feel like once I plateau there, maybe that's the time to go and like really fine tune equipment, fine tune the ball, look at where I can start getting some gains out of the equipment. Whereas right now it's still really like, being consistent with your swing, exercising good course management, exercising good judgment, and really, always short game. And I feel there's still gains to be made there. But maybe it's that next step. Once I've plateaued again, it's that next step is where I can maybe find some gains with some of this equipment stuff. What are your thoughts on that? What do you think about that?
I think that no matter what equipment you're swinging, or what clubs you're using, or even what ball you're using, you need to know your numbers, right? So you need to know how far you're going to carry each one of your clubs in your bag, right? So, and I know that, right? So I when I go to the range, I bring I got one of those voice caddy things.
Mm-hmm.
And so I couldn't spiel them all off to you right now, but I know, like when I go out and play golf, especially when the season gets rolling, I'm going to go and get all my numbers, right? And so it's just important to know, like, if I hit this club good, it's going to carry this yardage. Because if you don't know that and you're pulling out a club, and you're just trying to do it, like a guessing game, I think that's where you can hurt yourself. All the new equipment is going to help your game. There's no doubt about it. I mean, it just clubs from 2006 to now, it's a different world. It's like night and day.
Mm-hmm.
But no matter what you're swinging, you got to know how far you can hit each one of those clubs. Yeah, I think that's the crucial thing. And you're right about working on the short game and all that's going to be the most important part, right? It's how are you going to get it in the hole in the least amount of strokes. But equipment does play a huge part in the game. And there's been so much evolution over those years. It's crazy.
Yeah. I think for me, I mean, we talked before we went live here, we're talking about how many rounds I play. I know how far my clubs go, right? You can't play as much as I play and not have a really good sense for how far your clubs go. So that's why I kind of think about that performance plateau would be maybe sort of the next opportunity to look at equipment and whether there's some gains to be made. Distance is not a problem. I can't see myself for the next couple of years here chasing additional distance. I don't need it. But it's fine tuning everything. So what would you say there's anything that you're overspending on right now in golf?
Oh God, financially,
Yeah, yeah. Hey, what are you over? That's the question. What are you overspending on?
I am overspending on clubs for sure. I am a gadget guy. Like I'm always like I see something, I'll see an advertisement for something, I'll be like, wow, that seems like a really cool club to test or review.
A divot
And
board. I gotta try that.
yeah, yeah. Oh God. So I know I don't, it's funny. I don't spend money on a lot of the training on any of the training
Okay.
tools. I don't.
Okay.
I've never been one of those guys. But I keep looking to my right because I'm looking at all the empty golf club boxes that is sitting right next to me. I got an empty box for the Newton golf shaft, which that's another company that has been really fantastic to me.
I saw that review that you did for that.
We should talk about those too. And I'm looking at my, Performance Golf 357 box that was there. And I got like 5 or 6 clubs sitting over here too. And I have a Scotty Cameron putter that when I get to 1,000 subscribers, I plan on giving that away. I did some contests in the beginning of when I had the channel, but that's not sustainable, right? You can't just keep buying stuff and giving it away. But I did want to do something special when and if I reach, I shouldn't say if, I think I'm confident I'm going to reach
You'll
1,000
get there. You'll get there. As long as you keep plugging away,
Yeah.
you'll get there.
And
right?
so I'm going to give away a Scotty Cameron putter. I had bought it, and I used the TaylorMade Spider putter, which is the best putter I've ever used in my life. And so, that's what I'm going to do. But a lot of the clubs that I had gotten in from other companies like Lazarus, because they sent me some drivers to test, they sent it to me. They didn't charge me, and I've given all that stuff away to subscribers, just as a thank you. Because I'm like, who needs 10 drivers? I had all kinds of clubs in there. My wife was like, get some of this crap out of the house like now. And so I'm like, all right, I got an idea. And I lost track of the question. Oh,
the question was, what do you overspend on? And it was equipment, it was clubs. What do you think? And maybe it's the same, but I was kind of curious, like, what do you think most golfers overspend on? And, or maybe a more important question or a more interesting question is, what do you think golfers generally underspend on?
Whoa, underspend. God, I don't know. I guess if I was going to say, what you say, lessons,
maybe.
That's where I was going to go with that. So yes, I think that it's always good to have another set of eyes of, somebody who really knows what they're doing to fine tune your game. If you want to take your game to the next level, they talk about practicing and things like that. But if you're practicing, you're doing things the wrong way, you're not going to get it to that next level, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you're doing, if you're not fixing what's broken or, working on that, then it's hard to get better in this game, And
I wholeheartedly believe. I don't actually go to the range anymore because, again, I want to play. And if I have time to go to the range, I have time to go play a couple holes instead and hit a couple balls, on each hole and practice. But I have one of my favorite members at our club. He's now 84, 85, Billy the Barber. And Billy used to walk by me at the driving range. He'd see me at the driving range with, like 3 empty buckets and working on my 4th bucket. And he would say things like, it's not really practice if you're practicing the wrong thing, Mike.
Right. Exactly. It's not.
And over time, I realized, I'm like, you know what? He's so right. If I'm not going to do this with a coach and take lessons, then I'm just going to go play and figure it out, dig it out of the dirt. Right.
Yep.
Yeah. It's pretty funny how, like, I don't know, it was kind of folksy poking fun at me, guys talking BS at the range, but it was actually really true.
Yep. Yeah.
So
I have a lesson on Thursday night, as a matter of fact, coming up.
Really? Nice.
Yep.
Nice. So Dick Large wants to know if you use a rangefinder. Dick, I don't use a rangefinder. Actually, I take that back. I do have a GPS. I use GPS on my phone. That's it.
I absolutely use a rangefinder, Dick. I see you think it's cheating. I don't know. I use it. And especially if I'm playing in competition, well, I'm always playing in competitions at my course. And a lot of times we're playing for money, and the other guy's using rangefinders. So if if I'm playing for money against these guys, they're using rangefinders and so on. USGA allows it, so it's definitely not against the rules. As a matter of fact, the USGA allows it in some of their bigger tournaments for amateurs, and they're allowed to use rangefinders in a lot of their competitions. So
yeah, that's sort of the definition of not cheating.
Yeah, I honestly think that I think eventually you might see pros being able to use them. It'll be interesting, but um, like I said, I do use them, and I always will.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I want to shift gears a little bit.
Sure.
I want to talk sort of a little bit about your channel and your podcast.
Sure.
I know you've been pretty open. You have another channel where you talk
Yep.
about mental health.
Yes.
So which came first? Was it the golf or the mental health? Like if we're talking about YouTube and podcasting and sort of putting yourself out there in that fashion, which came first? Was it the golf or the mental health stuff?
It was the mental health stuff. Started on TikTok. So, I am very open about it because I feel that mental health awareness is so hugely important nowadays. And so I have obsessive compulsive disorder, and I have an anxiety disorder and things like that. And so there's a stigma that has always come with mental health, and I am trying to help break that stigma. So I don't go out there and try. I'm on TikTok, and I make a lot of motivational videos, and so that led into me doing this mental health podcast, and it's called My Brain, My Happiness. And I just feel like I have a bigger purpose here, not like religious or spiritual. It's just I just felt like I had this drive to really want to help people, because I know that when I was in the darkest of dark places, just having someone pat me on the back or put their arm around me and say, "Hey, it's going to be okay," or a therapist or whatever, and there's too many people that just kind of suffer in silence, and they don't need to. And so it's hugely important for me. And so I still do that. I still do the stuff on TikTok. I still do the My Brain, My Happiness podcast. The golf stuff, funny enough, came because this channel that I have, the very first video I ever made, I was talking about the Lazarus hybrids. And I'm like, hey, you know what? I usually do like this channel is usually going to be like mental health and things like that, but I'll throw some golf stuff in there too, blah, blah, blah. Me just sitting in front of a camera like we are right now, just talking about Lazarus hybrids. That video has got almost 10,000 views. Now, for me, that's a lot of views, right? And I'm like, well, maybe there is something to this golf stuff. I can do both, right? So the golf stuff is completely for fun. It's completely for fun. And like we talked about, we love doing it, editing the videos and doing these interviews and things like that. And the mental health stuff is because I just want to help people, and I'm not a therapist. I'm not a psychiatrist. I always make sure I put that out there, but I'm just a guy who's been there and can understand from that point of view how you feel, and I just talk about the coping skills that I've used to get through life. And that's what I do with the other channel.
I think that's awesome. I mean, my perspective is that since COVID, it seems to be like really since COVID, it probably started before then, but there's been so much more destigmatization of mental health and addressing your mental health and not suffering in silence and not being the person that sits on the sidelines. So I think the more voices that embrace that I'm not going to suffer in silence and I'm going to share what I know and what I feel and how I cope with others is amazing. I'm curious. So you say OCD and anxiety. How do those manifest? Do those manifest at all in golf?
No.
I could rationalize how OCD might.
Yeah.
They don't manifest in golf?
So no. So my OCD is kind of classified as what they call pure OCD, and it's more along lines with intrusive thoughts. And so it's unwanted thoughts that just pop in your head, and you know, they're irrational, but to you, they're real, you know, when you suffer from that kind of OCD. And think about having, just one of the worst, scariest thought. I don't know. I had myself convinced that I had like terminal cancer at one time. And so imagine waking up and having this thought in your head and not being able to let it go the entire day. And the only peace you get is when you're sleeping. And, I would spend my days researching, and you're always looking for an answer that you're never going to get. You always want reassurance, things like that. Ironically, being on the golf course is my escape from all of that, because when I'm out on the golf course, all I'm thinking about is golf. Yeah. And that is, now golf will drive you crazy too, but in a different way. You want to do well and you don't do well, you get mad or whatever. But as far as the mental health part of it, it's different. That's where my escape was coming from. So I do take medication. I have to take medication. It's just, I've tried to do it without it and I can't function. And so if I don't take my medication, I'm out on the golf course, I will notice it. People will notice it. I mean, my friends will come up to me and be like, "Hey, did you take your meds today? Did you take your, did you take your anxiety pill today or whatever?" Because if I'm a little more tensed up and a lot of times I'd be like, "Oh, you know what?" And I forgot, and I always have it in my pocket, but it's been so, like, my close friends will see it and they know, and they will come up to me and just because they care, not for any other reason, just to care. And so, so no, I don't, the obsessive compulsive anxiety stuff does not manifest that way on the golf course. It could happen in different ways.
I like most of my life, the lens that I view the world and everything in is humor, and it's just how it's my coping mechanism.
Yeah.
And so it's not making light of things, but when you said it doesn't manifest itself in golf, the OCD I have is, I forget the type, but you said it manifests in intrusive thoughts that are inappropriate and that don't go away. And I thought, there's nothing more golfer than that. Standing over, a wedge shot.
Yeah.
And, intrusive thoughts, don't hit it in the water. Don't hit it in the water. And you can't let it go. I mean, so I kind of was laughing. I'm like, are you sure it doesn't manifest? Because man, maybe I feel like that's it. And then the anxiety stuff, that's that I feel is really dovetailed. So how does golf sort of fit into that mental health recovery support, coping? How do you use golf in that fashion?
Well, it just kind of naturally works out that way. So like I said, when I'm on the golf course, and I'm sure this is true for a lot of people, when we're out on the golf course, there's no work going on in my head. There's no OCD. There's no anxiety. There's no nothing. There's just golf. That's it. And it is my sanctuary, the golf course. You know what I mean? And I find such peace out there because I'm escaping everything else that we stress about in our lives. Right. So regardless of what it is, even take the mental health part of it out of it. Right. Just when I'm playing golf, that's all I'm thinking of. And, we shoot the shit, the guys and I shoot the shit. We have a lot of fun out on the golf course and we bust each other's butts and things like that. But, when it comes to worrying about things that are part of your everyday work, I escape that on the course. I just do. I'm in a much better place than I was 10 years ago, so, so my mental health issues are pretty much under control, therapy and medication and all that stuff. And so on the golf course, it's just nice because my brain shuts off from everything other than being with my buddies, playing golf, and just making sure you have the best. Because what's the point of being out there if you're not having a good time?
Yeah, if you're wound up and it's not fun. I think
too many times, too many
times I'm out in Oregon here, so surrounded by hippies, and my parents were hippies, and I wouldn't say I'm a practitioner of mindfulness, but there are specific times when I go out to the course and I know like it happens more in the summertime and I'll have, a twilight round and I know I'm going to play by myself and I'm going to play 9 holes. And I go out there with a couple of specific goals usually. And it is one, I'm not going to talk.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say anything about any shot I hit. I'm not going to talk. I'm not going to speak.
Okay.
And then the other thing is I'm going to be very mindful of my surroundings. And that may be, I want to hear all the birds.
Yeah.
Certain holes I'm walking beside, there's a creek running down the side. I want to be listening for that creek the entire time. And just sort of like transports you. You're playing golf, but it's taking your mind out of that. And it's so peaceful. And I always, finish those rounds and I'm just so at ease and so just relaxed and wish that golf could be like that every time. It's not, it never is, but that's sort of how it's my mental health break.
Yes.
Right. What's the one thing you think that everybody should be doing for their mental health?
Oh God, making sure you take care of yourself first. And when I mean take care of yourself, uh, I mean, um, I mean physically, and because the correlation between moving every day, getting some sort of exercise in, eating as healthy as you can, the correlation between that and your mental health, it's the science is there. Okay, it's just there. Like it's amazing with just walking. If you walk, it doesn't have to be the same amount, but if you walk somewhere between 8 and 12,000 steps a day, did you know that you cut your chances of getting any illness across the board by like 50%? It's crazy. It's just the benefits of walking alone. So there's no downside to it, but when you take care of yourself and you take care of your body, it will have a direct impact on your mental health. And I've gained like 30 of it back, but I lost 80 pounds. I got to it and I had bad knees and, I was depressed because I couldn't walk. And so I needed to do something. And so moving every day and trying to eat right and things like that is just it's huge. That is what I think people can do and should do.
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
I'm a 5 day a week, 6 day a week, sometimes workout. Well, if I take golf out of it, I'm 5 day a week workout guy. And I enjoy lifting. I do all my stuff at home and I've got a, pretty nice setup to exercise at home. And that's the other sort of, you talk about mindfulness and golf in those certain rounds. Lifting weights for me is that same sort of release. And there's also a very physical reaction to, lifting and to that kind of exercise that it feels good. It feels relaxing,
It
right?
does.
Because it physically is doing something to your body that does that to you. So it's kind of amazing. So I think that's a well put general advice to everybody for their mental wellness is to take care of yourself. And that means starting physically taking care of yourself. And then also, just recognizing that it's okay to take time to think about, am I okay?
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
Am I okay?
You need to just, we want to take care of our loved ones and all that. But you're not going to be good to anybody else unless you're good to yourself first. And I don't mean that in a selfish way, but sometimes you got to be a little selfish, but I can't, if I'm not taking care of me, I can't help take care of someone else. It's just, I got to be my best self to be able to help someone else out. It's just, what I believe.
Yeah. It's interesting. I work in hospitality and, we train our front desk in hotels and restaurants and stuff. And we train staff. Number one is your safety.
Yep.
Like, cause they'll do really, especially the younger kids come in and work and they'll do something really dumb.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, it was all because of the guest safety and it put the employee in danger. And the coaching and the training is always, look, take care of yourself first. You are the number one priority for us is our employee. And then you taking care of yourself will protect our customers, protect our
Right.
guests. And it's sort of the same thought process, and it makes a lot of sense, I think. That's pretty. So is the mental health, the podcast, it's your mind, your
It's
health,
my brain, my
my
happiness.
I was close. My brain,
Yeah.
my happiness. Okay.
Yeah.
So is that also a YouTube channel, or is that you're just doing podcasts with
I
that?
do have a YouTube channel, but it's just all the podcasts go there. So
Okay.
I load it into Spotify, and then what happens is my podcast, including the golf podcast, go out to all the platforms.
Which is
So
something I don't do. I should probably talk to you about that because I just do it on YouTube.
yeah, it's not hard. Like you can set it up, and it's really not hard to do. I can definitely show you, and you just load it into Spotify, and it'll automatically go to all the other platforms. I don't really know how many people are listening. I know that I stopped doing the podcast for a while, and I got a sprinkle of people saying, "What's up with your podcast? I haven't, I really relied on it, or I really enjoyed it." And I'm like, I didn't think anybody was listening, to be honest with you. So I started back up with them, and the golf podcast I do is a filler. You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
okay, I want to put something out there, and I just like to ramble on about golf. And
I was gonna say, not that it doesn't take thought,
no, it does
but
take thought. You're right.
you want to be a lot more intentional and planned out, I would think, if you're going to talk about a
Yes.
mental health
Yes,
topic. Whereas
absolutely.
golf, like you literally could turn the microphone on and say, "What did you think about Brooks Koepka coming back to the PGA?"
Yeah, that's what I do. With the golf one is not scripted at all. The mental health one, I do a lot of research. I'll listen to a lot of TED Talks and things like that, and I will relate it to myself, and then I will start to take notes and how it what I've just heard relates to me in my life, and how I can portray that to others. And that's so the podcast takes a while to put an episode together, but I feel like I'm doing good, putting some good back into the world, and it's much
Good.
needed, I think, right now.
What do you think you've probably learned most about yourself in that process?
I learned that I had a bigger purpose in life that I didn't realize I had. So, when I was in the throes of suffering from my mental illness, it would you get a lot of woe is me, or you start to, you know, God, I wonder what it would be like to feel normal. Well, I, the definition of normal is different for everybody. But when I started making videos on TikTok that were just like, "Hey, how you doing? How are you today?" Just motivational type short little clips, and people were coming back to me and saying, "Oh my God, you saved my life today," or something crazy like that. Um, I shouldn't say crazy, but something, along those lines where I really impacted their day.
Mhm.
That I found that I have a purpose here. Like there's just something drove me to do this. And that's really what I learned about myself, was that I got bigger things that I need to be doing, and helping people in that respect is what it is.
Yeah. I would never pretend that what I do on YouTube rises to that level. But what always surprises me is that people are paying attention.
Yeah.
It just,
Yeah.
and I'm like, this is just a hobby for me. I'm just out here having fun. It's an excuse to buy a little bit of gear and to set it up and play around and fiddle around with it, and
Yeah.
make new friends and talk about things that I enjoy. But it always catches me off guard when someone brings something up out of the blue, and I'm like, wow, there's actually people that are paying attention to this stuff. So, I mean,
Mhm.
that's, to me, is encouraging to keep going, whether
Oh
it's
yeah. Yeah.
just this hobby stuff for golf, or if it's you talking about your mind and your happiness.
Yeah.
It's encouraging to know that, yeah, people are listening, that people are paying attention, and keep going and don't
Yeah.
stop.
Yep.
So that's cool. I wrote this question down because as I was kind of binge watching through a bunch of your older videos, I think I've seen you a couple times wear a hat that says record store owner. Were you
Yeah.
actually a record store owner?
No, no. So what I do, for my big boy job is I'm in cybersecurity,
Okay.
and I go to vendor conferences and the things like that, or vendor golf tournaments, and the amount of hats that I have is that is just basically that records. store that you saw owner thing is just basically they're talking about data storage. That's all it
Yeah, I
is.
got you
So
now.
it's a
It makes
vendor.
sense now.
Yeah,
Well,
I must have 50, 60 hats. I couldn't even tell you how many, but
I'll tell you where my brain went when I saw it. I'm like, record store owner, guy named like Joey D. That sounds like a DJ. So then I will admit, I was like, Google, is there a Joey D DJ or record store owner on the East
yeah,
Coast? Look like
yeah,
Connecticut or something. Because I'm like, that just sounds like a DJ.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Okay, so let me write this down here. Not actually a record
No,
store owner.
not a record store owner.
Okay, I got some fun questions kind of to wrap up for you here. So
Sure.
we're at an hour and don't want to keep you any longer than that. But um, whenever so you have a lot of gear centric videos on your channel. So whenever I
Yeah.
talk to gear guys, I'm always curious if the golf club count was limited to 5 clubs plus your putter, what would your 5 clubs be?
Driver.
And it can be, and you can even say like it's this particular hybrid or this particular driver or whatever. What will
Yep,
your 5
yep.
clubs be?
It would be a driver, a 7 wood, and let's see, 5 clubs. So I'd want to go 6, 9, and a putter. So yeah, driver, 7 wood, because the 7 wood I can hit that thing anywhere from 175 to 195, and then a 6 iron I can get pretty it can be pretty I can get a little different with the yardage with that too. 9 iron, 9 because I could hit it. I hit it for the short shots. I could punch it, but I could also chip around the greens with it, and then of course a putter. So
And hopefully not end up in a bunker.
yeah, 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 it's yeah, hopefully not up in the bunkers, but I'd have a better shot of getting out of the bunker with a 9 than I guess with an 8, right? So,
This is true. This is true.
yeah, I was trying to think of clubs that I could use from 100 yards in,
Yeah.
work with it and still be able to chip around the greens with it.
Yeah, that's fun. It's always fun to do that. And actually I occasionally will just randomly do that. And then my wife and brother-in-law are like, "What are you doing?" And we're in the parking lot and I'm pulling clubs out of my bag. I'm like, "I'm just going to play with 5 clubs. Here we go." See how we do. It's just fun.
Excellent.
What golf achievement are you most proud of? You may have talked about it already at the beginning. I mean, shit.
Definitely my 2 rounds in the 60s.
Yeah.
Hole-in-ones are, there's a lot of luck that comes with it.
Uh-huh.
But I've been as low as a 4 handicap.
Okay.
And that was back in the late 90s, and um playing golf at that level was my biggest accomplishment, and like I said, having those 2 rounds where I broke par for 18 holes, uh I haven't the last time I did it was in 2000, and haven't sniffed it since. So um it would be that for sure.
Do you think it's possible for you to get back down to a 4 or 5?
I always believe I got it in me. I feel like every time I tee it up, I'm going to shoot even par. It's just the mentality that I have. Um, and I am, like I said, I got down to an 8 in 2024, and then distance, my lack of distance really, I just lost so much distance in 2025. And, it's the first time that I noticed that it hurt my game, so that's why I'm working
Mhm.
to get it back, and I am getting it back, so I believe that I can definitely get back down to a 7 or an 8 for sure. I've have this thing, on my channel, I always talk about the drive for 5, right? Trying to get back down to a 5 handicap.
Yeah. Yeah.
I started with it last year, and it went the other way, so I don't try to put that much pressure on myself to get to it, but, um, there's these flashes that are, I'll go out there and I've shot in the 70s a handful of times in 2025, and it was there, it's just that I couldn't stay away from the big numbers. So, um, yeah, to answer your question, yes.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
That's a good answer. I would say that nobody in my life has ever accused me of not being laid back.
Yeah.
And so sometimes I need a little kick in the butt to to keep myself motivated. And so
Yeah.
I did probably, we'll see if it did myself a favor or not. I went and I looked yesterday. So my goal is to get just below 10, or just to get under 10, get to single figures.
Sure.
Let's just say that.
Yep.
And so to get to 10, I looked at, okay, what do I need to score? What do my 8 counting scores on my handicap card need to be? What
Yep.
range differential do I need to be? And what does that translate to on my course? And unfortunately for me, it actually translates to a very doable number. And so it's like, I've got to shoot, depending on if there's any course adjustment or whatever, but essentially I got to shoot anywhere from 83 to 81, right? I need 8 of those in my last 20 and I'm there. And that is super doable. I've shot those scores. I did that probably had 25 rounds in that range last year.
Nice.
Just probably not all, they didn't all count at the same time, obviously.
Right.
But what I don't want to do is get stuck in the trap where I'm walking to the course and too focused on the number.
Yes, it's a killer. I've been there. I've done that.
You
It's
just get so focused on that number, and especially like my so I told you I golf with my wife and my brother-in-law, and they count every stroke. My wife will stand over a putt and then step off the putt because she's counting the strokes that it took to get there. And I'm like, what? Well, just count when you're done. Well, no, I got to count now. So I know what this is worth. I'm like, oh, that doesn't work for me, right? I can't do that. And
I've
so I kind of hope I put pressure on myself, knowing like this is what you need to be. This is where you need to be scoring in this range, but without getting too fixated on it. So I'm gonna have to work on that and try and find that balance as the season gets underway here and gets going. So but that's pretty awesome. Joe, what do you go, Joey or Joe?
I go by Joe, but my actually I shouldn't say it. All my friends call me Joey. My family's called me Joey, but when I'm at work and when I introduce myself to people, I introduce myself as Joe. You know what I mean? So but Joe or Joey it works. Both of them work for me because I'm called both all the time.
Same. Actually, it's just my family. It's my sisters and my parents, my aunts and uncles and cousins, Mikey, and then a couple of really close longtime friends. It's still Mikey, and that's fine. And I like it, actually. It's kind of fun now. But it's been awesome having you on. I'm so happy that you agreed to come on and just be actually really open and sharing, about yourself, your struggles and your copes and how you've dealt with life. Really, it's pretty awesome. Is there anything you want to plug as we're wrapping up here?
Just my channel, if anybody is not a subscriber of Joey D's golfing journey, don't forget to go out and like and subscribe. I got a lot of cool stuff out there, doing a lot of reviews still. And, in the summertime, I can't wait to do the encore stuff. I answered Dick Large really quick. I don't plan on doing a 359. I think if I was going to try anything else from Performance Golf, it might be their Thriver driver. I've heard some pretty cool things about that, but I have a 9-wood and a 7-wood, and I'm not sure where I would fit that, but who knows? If you want me to do it, I'll do it.
And you have and you already have 5 drivers.
Yeah, I got a lot of drivers. Anyway, and Joe from Sort of Like Golf, thank you for the compliments and the comments too, buddy. Appreciate it.
Yeah, Joe, you're a good one. You know what? I'm gonna start calling you Jody. If you were Jody growing up, you're Jody now.
Not Jody, Joey. Joey.
He wrote Jody.
Oh, Jody. Right. Jody.
Right. I like this. Jody, Joey, and Mikey.
Oh boy.
This is great. All right. So folks, thanks for watching. Go subscribe to Joey D's Golfing Journey. Subscribe to Mike Golfs Oregon if you like this content. See you in the comments. Don't forget to like it. And we will see you in the next one. Thank you so much for watching. Good night.
Have a good one. Thanks for the interview, Mike. I really appreciate it. I had about